Now we're gonna go straight to the next topic, which is Ngannou versus Cyril Gane. We have already spoken about
Yes.
this. Well, we have already spoken about this in our last show last week, me and Farouk. But I would like to hear your take on this fight. I don't want to waste too much time and ask you to tell me what is Ngannou's status of he only has one fight left in his contract, but I just want you to tell me because this is like a very technical. They say styles make fight, right? So these styles they
Mhm.
actually do match. One hit power KO guy versus one of the most technical heavyweights we've ever seen before. So how do you see this fight going? And before and you just round up what you feel about the fight with a prediction.
Um, in my heart of hearts, deep down, I think Sturgan is going to win a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Or is going to have or get a late finish. That's my true feeling. I think Gan, and I said it, and I've been saying it for if you go to my Twitter and my history since I saw Gan fight the first time. First of all, I knew that him and Gan will fight. I just knew that was going to happen, and I knew that Gan is a new type of fighter for that division. I think it take fighters a while to catch up to that kind of style. Um, he doesn't get hit a lot. He moves his feet very well. Ngannou is very athletic. Ngannou is very underrated as well. He has good. He's pretty fast, athletic. I think his gas tank is a bit questionable. Ngannou that is. But obviously he has very very big power. But
Mm-hmm.
we've seen, and everybody says they are different fighters, which is not the right. We've seen Gan deal with power from Rosenstruik, who is probably one of the top maybe 2 3 punchers in that division as well as Derrick Lewis, who fought for this interim title. Those both guys have a lot of heavy power. If they catch you, you're going to go to sleep. Ngannou can win if you. I think Ngannou can blast him early because Gan takes maybe 3 4 5 minutes to find his range, and keep that distance. So I think that if Ngannou can rattle him very early in the fight and just keep coming forward, he can catch him clean before he settles down in the fight, knock him out early, and go home. And I feel like if Ngannou wins this fight, for me, he's in the conversation for being one of the greatest of all time at that division. That's my opinion. Because Gan is, in my opinion, already probably the best heavyweight we've seen, skill wise, in the history of the UFC. So I feel like this fight is the fight that if Ngannou wins this fight, he's top 3 for me, all time heavyweight. But I think the Gan likely is going to pick him apart and maybe finish him very late in fight. That's my if I have to pick, that's what I'll pick. But Ngannou can get it done early, and I probably can't sleep on it. So
Okay, so in our live chat here, we have Scrap Legends with two fists in the air. Shout out Scraps Legend. We have Grand Swing. Peace from your African American brother. Peace to you too, my brother. And we have this guy here. His name is Mohammed Farouk Suleiman. I don't know who that is, but he says, "Will Ngannou stay with the UFC afterwards, regardless the outcome? Do you guys think he will leave the UFC regardless of the outcome?" So, well, we have been seeing people throwing dust, or should I say people uh that is people. When I say people, I mean Dana White calling Ungannou's bluff, and and his management calling Dana White's bluff on, is he going to sign a new contract, is he going to be allowed to sign a new contract, all of that. So what do you think? Do you think if Ngannou wins, does he actually walk away from the UFC, or do you think even if he loses,
he
does he walk
wins.
away from the UFC?
I think that um, hmm, I think this is Ngannou's last fight in the UFC, regardless of whether he wins or loses. This is my opinion. Um, but I think that he knows what the stakes are. If he wins the fight, I think he knows the reality of the situation is that he can choose not to fight, right? Nobody don't force him to fight, but I think that he'll be stuck. He won't be able to fight. He won't be able to box
Mm-hmm.
or do anything. But I think that if Ngannou wins, I think he'll hold out. I think he'll just sit out until the stream of until the stream of return. Oh, you know what they can do? I just thought about this one right now. I think he'll hold out to the stream of the title, and then he can go. Because I think that if he holds the title, maybe like a year. Once he holds it, he agrees like he doesn't want to defend the belt at all. He will hold out. Then they will get to a point where they will strip him from the title. And I think if they strip him, I'm not sure about this, but I think if they strip him of the title, he'll be free to leave the UFC and do what he wants to do. Because since it's the last fight, because the only reason he's staying now is because he has a champion clause, right? So when you win the fight as a champion, you get an extension automatically to fight one more time, right? So I think that best case for him is to I won't say best case for him. Best case for him actually now is for him to win the fight, sit out for a year, get stripped, and move on. Right? If he loses the fight, I think that boxing fight that he's trying to target becomes less exciting. Because if he loses to Gan in MMA on defeat, I don't know how he'll convince anybody that can beat Tyson Fury or all those guys that are technical boxers at the top of the heavyweight division. So I think that for him to have that boxing, allure,
Mm.
that he has to win this fight,
Mm.
and then it's tricky because he can't fight boxing. In my opinion, I think Ngannou should have just fought for the belt, defended his title 2, 3 times, and been cool with dinner, and would have gone to do boxing. But now,
I saw
I think it's the last fight, regardless, though.
I
The
saw
last
his
fight. I don't think
his
he's fighting
recent
again.
his recent interview with Brett Okamoto on ESPN. He mentioned that he wants to box. He does not even want to just box. He wants UFC to be involved in the promo of his boxing. So I feel like what he's saying is in his contract he wants the boxing and he wants UFC to be fully involved in it so they can share the money basically. And about him fighting Tyson Fury, even though we know his boxing skills is not as crisp as Tyson, who has been boxing his whole life, it's still something that it's sort of like when the Avengers come together. You understand? It's sort of like Godzilla versus King Kong. It's playing in our heads. What is gonna happen? There's that what is gonna happen factor in it that makes people want to see that fight. So I feel like even if he wins or he loses and still move into boxing, people would still want to see, does he still carry that knockout power? Can Tyson Fury take his knockout power, or is he going? So there are so many questions basically. So I feel like, in my own opinion, I feel like he doesn't sound like he's bluffing, and I think UFC don't want to curve to his demands because other people will come up and ask for demands as well. So, but I think last waiting will happen. Be say he would actually walk away. So that's what I think would happen.
I think the things I've been saying, I don't see Ngannou fighting after this fight in the UFC again.
Mm-mm.
At least not for a year. At least not for a year.
I think he's
The way I've
somebody.
been speaking and the things that
Yeah, yeah. The
sorry,
way
go
he's
on.
sounding. Sorry about talking over you. The way he's been sounding, it sounds like he's good with where he's at with money right now, and he's good with just maybe 1 or 2 paydays from boxing. You understand? Because boxing bag is very
No,
big. So I feel
I'm
like
not gonna lie to you. I think that he's on. Go on. Sorry. I think he's underestimating the power of being the UFC champion, two being in the UFC and trying to cross promote from the UFC. If he's a free agent, it's not the same type of promotion. No. It's not the same. So I think he needs to worry about. I think it needs to be tricky. Like what is this way he's trying to go is a very tricky, is a very huge gamble for him. I think that he needs to study the options very well.
all right.
I think for me, I think his best bet is to fight in the UFC. If he wins this fight, if he loses the fight, then he can just he can either way, it doesn't matter. He can go. I think it's a different fight if he loses. I think that boxing fight is very tricky if he loses because I think people lose interest, and I don't know that they will give Ngannou a title fight
Mm.
off of a loss in the UFC. Because if fight with Fury is for the title, that's for the boxing world title, right? That's the WBC titles immediately.
Okay.
Because think about it, the law of this fight is MMA champion and boxing champion are fighting.
Mm.
That's the idea. This one is one league, MMA champion, baddest
Mm.
Spider-Man on the planet in MMA, Spider-Man on the planet in boxing. If they both
Okay.
fight, if one of them has lost their belt, I think the fight becomes a different type of fight because now there's no, like, the best guy not fighting the best guy
All
in
right.
both sports.
All right. All
I
right.
think
All
that
right.
makes it very.
Okay. Okay. So to just round up this Ngannou's topic, yeah. There is you predicted you gave like 3 different outcomes that you think would happen. So I want you to stick to one, please. Can you tell me your final prediction for Ngannou versus Rogan?
My predictions, I think that truly, if I had to bet, Ngannou is my guy, man. I have the flag with me for Cameroon, but I can't bet against Rogan. I just can't. I think Rogan is going to win that fight, probably by decision or late TKO. That's my
Okay.
that's, that's my final pick.
All right. Well, if you ask me, last week, we had some very serious African fans in the comment section, and they were disappointed in me because I predicted Sirogan to win by unanimous decision. And I don't just want it to sound like I'm copying you, but I actually did predict Ngannou, Sirogan to win by unanimous decision. So maybe it's because I always aim high. But anyways, that's
Thank you guys for supporting the African fighters. Please click on the subscribe button so that you'll be informed whenever we post a video. And also show us support, take us to 1,000 subscribers. We really appreciate all the support, all the love. Thank you.
Come on, Africans!